bestbookbits.com brings you the book summary of The Charge, Activating the 10 Human Drives That Make You Feel Alive Again by Brendon Burchard. Since the fateful night of his car accident, Brendon has lived a fully charged life and he's helped millions of people around the globe transform their lives and feel more alive, engaged, and fulfilled. In The Charge, Brendon argues that the only way to measurably improve the quality of your life is to learn how to activate the very 10 drives that make you most human. These drives are your desire for more control, competence, congruence, caring, connection, change, challenge, creative expression, contribution, and consciousness. These drives shape everything you think, feel, and do in life. So understanding and mastering them is critical to your success and happiness. Strategically activating these drives on a consistent basis is the fastest path to living a fully charged life. Harnessing our human drives is not easy. If it were, we wouldn't see so much restlessness in the world. That's why Brendon, who's devised what he calls the true activators of human experience, a series of powerful, simple actions you can take to radically increase your levels of energy, engagement, and fulfillment in all areas of your life. What Brendon uncovers in The Charge will surprise and challenge you. It turns out that most of the ways we seek to meet our human drives are actually counterproductive. We all want more control, for example, but seeking to have more certainty in our daily lives or to control other people will actually decrease our levels of control and happiness. We have a deep desire for change, too, but we often fail to make the right kinds of change that would make us feel more alive and in command of our lives. In The Charge, Brendon helps us overcome these mistakes and illuminates the path for strategically and intelligently activating our 10 human drives so you can have the one we all want, more life in our lives. Do you ever sense as if your life is occupying you? You get up and you do not have the voice for what your day is going to seem. It's all heretofore planned. You only feed yourself. Labour, feed, bed, down, reoccur. And after the weekdays, you become too exhausted to do anything other than watching TV and approaching sleep. Presently, it is time to have a sudden flip-flop. Even if you are at some point comfortable with the way you live, and sometimes imagine an alternative life that you seek your dreams in a fast way, it's time for a novel prospect. Despite sensing as you have an enclosed life that is simply free from pain, begin to have a life that you can make a decision. The one way of life that will facilitate continuing happiness and long-range satisfaction. Fortunately, it is probable to have one there. What you need is to actuate the 10 human drives that this summary will show you the way to do for certain. Chapter 1, having a caged, relaxed, or responsible life are the 3 sorts of lifestyles that you can proceed. What forms a satisfying life in your mind? Is it to have a well-paid employment, a house with bright coloured fencing, and going to coast with your children at the weekend? Well, it is the society that wants you to trust that happiness is about a total of material possessions. But society's calculation does not work correctly. Truly, living accordingly to suggestions that other people give is as having a caged life. And the hedges of this enclosure are previously constructed. When we are at an early age, our caretakers give prizes for the improvement of specific features like self-control and being passionate, by acknowledging us and showing us tenderness. When being an adult, we maintain to pursue those similar rewards by chasing akin orders. We do things in a way that other people think we should do and have the job that our parents would appreciate. We might not be happy. We might feel cubed and half done. However, we are not going to escape from that cage yet, since we dread to be deprived on what we have made effort not easy to acquire, recognition. Nowadays, some people do not feel completely caged. We are relaxed, having a life that society names good life a lovely home, a lovely partner, and an admirable budget when the one lovely month is over. We appreciate all this. However, sincerely, confusion's complain. Is it genuinely what I desire? Am I bypassing something greater? Similar to our prisoned friends, we want self-fulfillment. However, rather than seeking it, we regard our dedication and persuade ourselves that we are pleased. Then there are people experiencing a charged living. We can name them commonly charges. They feel unrestrained through other people's assumptions. Moreover, they are not concerned about the pretend proper life. The world they live in is full of opportunities, and they go after the way they created by it, following their bliss. If you have been having a relaxed or enclosed life, it is the moment to find out the way to be a charger. Chapter 2. Control your appeal to life and occupation. It does not matter if your lifestyle is caged, relaxed, or charged. One point is assured: you are pursuing bliss. Furthermore, it is lucid to say that people who have charged lives are more delighted. It results from that they stimulate the 10 human drives. Human drives are not critical to be alive, and you can undergo an impermanent bliss without them. However, we all long for them, and it is the mere way to fuel them to have a real charged life and gain permanent happiness. Baseline drives are the first 5 drives, and they ground the feeling of internal welfare that are something like believing in oneself and a sense of attachment. These drives consist of control, capability, accordance, consideration, and linkage. Let's begin at the opening with control. Many occurrences in one's life merely transcend one's control. You are not able to have authority over the traffic or what you will be said by the strangers or how intense the rain will be, but you are able to control the way you respond to these things, and this can generate enormous distinctiveness. If you have an enclosed life and something annoying happens to you, you might depict this occurrence like a further clue for your restraints. But if you decide how you live, you'll consider all undesirable moments as knowledge, not like a curse that can spoil your day or crushes your self-assurance. The father of the writer suggests an example of control very well. At the time he realized he had leukemia disease, he continued to behave positively. He conciliated hospital personnel with his easygoing approach and his sense of humor. And he generally said to his family how he appreciated them. He kept control and did not allow cancer to spoil the last days of his life. A single time you have got your own control, you are able to start founding professional authority in your job. It begins with having possession, the feeling that you possess your design, and your labor is clear and being proud of. Having possession can transform employment that you are frightened to a job you desire. Unluckily, many firms do not boost ownership. They lean on huge groups, and the slight participation of the persons in those groups incline not to be appreciated. If you recently have no sense of responsibility for any project, and any project that you could participate in does not exist, think about being the leader of your own. You will be more cheerful about it. Chapter 3. Capability is seen rare nowadays. Therefore, you ought to labor on yours. Did you ever confront a teacher who looked like a competent in demonstrating anything? What do you think about a colleague who could handle any work-related issue? These kinds of people are as exceptional as they are motivating, and as a result of this, they incorporate the second drive, capability. The capability has 3 registers that you can grasp, apply, and at the end, become expert what you determine to take responsibility. If you are sure that you are able to do these 3, even the scariest occasion you will experience will not look like as unsurpassable. Unluckily, the modern place of job inclines to place extinguisher over competence. Generally, workers are not encouraged to be experts of a specific thing. Rather, they are reinforced to do various works. which actually shortens the confidence capability loop. If you do not feel capable, you will never feel being capable. You will never join an activity that may activate a sense of capability. However, there will ever be times when the capability is asked, and if you do not have the capability to confront these times, you will start to sense hazardous. Successively, this might result in self-hesitancy, angst, and letdown. Therefore, you have to re-stimulate the confidence capability loop by putting yourself confrontations. The challenges you put have three canons that are being real, not easy to achieve, being time-based and being detectable. Therefore, a basketball player might aim to enhance the mean number of baskets he gets through 5 real in the fourth quarter, time-based, and his trainer might look at him, detectable. Dealing with these confrontations will construct your capability, which will reinforce your confidence, in which you'll be a volunteer to handle the further barriers. The loop will return in an active context. You can put a 60-day quick learning goal. To get a new skill, give yourself 2 months, like how to articulate your best song by playing the guitar, or how to apply complex apparatus for your job. This is going to fuel the circle for you. Chapter 4. Reach positive occurrence between your self-figure and your move through putting principles for yourself. Have dinner with your spouse. Go to bed, and when you almost turn off the lamp, your spouse tells you, "You forgot it, right? It is the anniversary day, and you have not remembered once again." Or you were telling your weeping son that you were going to go to the zoological garden the further week since you organised a casual meeting with your colleagues and left behind your family responsibilities. If you struggle for being a greater partner or a greater parent, it will be necessary for you to stimulate the third baseline drive, occurrence, which is the feature that will make your self-figure and the individual you want to be coherent. Occurrence has 3 grounds: among, how you act, and how you consider yourself. There might be positive congruence, negative congruence, or no congruence at all. In the case of no occurrence, your moves are not in line with your self-figure. Built in, you think you could be a greater individual, and you are often failing to fulfill your hopes with your moves. In the case of negative occurrence, you have a poor idea of your own self, and you behave concerning it. For example, if you think you are incompetent to speak Swedish, then you will no way initiate to speak it, which merely justifies blurred idea you get out of your capabilities. There occurs accordance among your self-figure and your absence of movements. However, you are still unfulfilled since you don't genuinely follow your fantasies. In the case of positive occurrence, nevertheless, you understand your identity and the person who you desire to be, and you adjust your movements with your information. You are relaxed with preferences you do, and you sense profoundly satisfied and calm. Thus, in which way do you gain positive occurrence? Well, you have to design principles for yourself and genuinely be loyal to them. Despite it may seem tough, if your own principles are achievable and there is no effect coming from outside, then you would see it easy to apply them, for they appear only from you. Pay attention to your internal reasoning and articulate 6 words on a paper, 3 for the individual who you desire to be, and the other 3 for the way you desire to behave towards others. Do not forget this hint or stick it on your table wherever you will face it frequently to make sure you internalize it. Be loyal to your principles so that you start to sense more satisfaction in all cases. Chapter 5. Give affection to yourself and be responsive to the affection the other people give you. All people aspire to perceive being approved, and all desire awareness and care. Moreover, gaining the affection of the other individual is a single way to afford these needs. The 4th baseline is the considering, which operates like both emotional circle and security, mentoring the way we move around other people's together with linking us to them. Nonetheless, considering other people is not the first step, and think about only getting from them. It should be learned that one should understand one's own emotions in the way of self-considering. Converting an ear that does not listen to your senses might change your living in a shocking way. For example, the writer one time trained a previous football player who had problems with the administration of the car dealership he possessed. In his whole life, the player had undergone disappointment after emotional disappointment. Therefore, he inclined to maintain putting distance towards others. However, the client regarded this unpleasant and car dealing were influenced in a bad way. Therefore, the writer reinforced him to begin to pay attention to his feelings through taking time, 3 times each day, to be located with his senses. It both assisted him to refound emotional balance and improve the firm. As anticipated, your physical well-being and emotional well-being are of equal importance. Therefore, be certain of sleeping 7 hours each night, making practices 3 days each week, and consuming vegetables substantially. Considering your physical health will both enhance your whole health and make your mind clear and support your feelings of wellness. At the moment, you generated proper self-considering behaviors, so you are ready to care for other people. If you are inclined to place others away from you, this might scare you. However, do not forget there is an aspect of the possibility of being harmed in getting the care of others, and it is obviously a possibility that is worth taking. There is a method to begin to conduct our conversations with other people, which is to decrease some barriers and to be sensational, professional, or monetary. Then use the list in common with individuals in your world. Tell them what you aim and pay attention to the suggestions these persons have got to propose. Suddenly this is going to generate a considering relation. Chapter 6. Form deep-seated linkages with other individuals. Human beings are socialized creatures. We long for other persons to tell them our ideas, emotions from a conflict with our parents, which gives unhappiness to our enthusiasm for the approaching date. However, it must be a person with whom we have a strong link to lean on our internal senses, rather than a random person. If you are willing to stimulate the 5th baseline drive and form links, you have to be exact about what you hope for a relationship to seem. What particularly is a close relationship for you? Articulate accurate terminology for all your relationships, from your peers and colleagues to your spouse, mother, and father. After that, use each term in common with related individuals and ask for their portion and hopes. For example, the writer one time inquired that his mum hopes for a rooted mother-son linkage. She wanted her son to ring up her every Sunday to greet and say his love. This habit that her son is calling her for 15 years has made the relationship deeper. Proper relationships are asserted on proper persons. Therefore, to form these rooted linkages, you need to detect the right persons. Although you are not able to decide your family, you can obviously find your right folks. However, only after classifying your present companions, you begin to seek new ones. There should be a list having names of all your friends. Give detail on the cause of your relationship and state what was the good part of it. At the moment, classify each friend according to 3 categories: long-lasted friends, the ones who are no more present in your world, and carrying on friends. You just want to meet them at some occasions. And improved friends, the persons you are happy to be with, laughing with, and support you. You ought to meet your improved friends once a month, and you ought to discover 10 of them. They will facilitate your bliss and charge. Chapter 7. Hold the positive side at the moment of alteration and be crystal about your aims. Right now, you are acquainted with the baseline drives, and there are 5 more drives other than these. Further drives that are related to future living and satisfying your aims. The earliest in order is the alteration. From the perspective of biology, we are accustomed to alteration. At the beginning of our lives, we change from an immature being to a stepping, speaking, being, and from there towards self-conscious grown-ups. As mature beings, we maintain to transform, our bodies continuously renew themselves, and our brain is continuously following novel inputs. However, although the transformation is a common thing, we incline to consider it frightening, most of the cases since we are scared of loss. Specifically, we dread that we will lose much more than we earn. For example, you are asked to work in a different position. However, it is needed to be in another department. You may reject it. Scaring a change of position will remove your autonomy in the present position and lead to tension among you and your colleagues. Rather than concentrating on being scared of loss, nevertheless, you ought to think about possible achievements. In such a context, you probably consider new offerings more fulfilling. You may know new and exciting persons and might increase your earning. We are also frightened to change since it is ambiguous. Many individuals are not aware of what they desire in life. Generally, it is because they do not have knowledge about the possibilities. For example, university graduates are usually feeling a loss. It does not result from intimidation they have, rather it is about their lack of knowledge about which ways are accessible. Therefore, investigate your possible alternatives. If you are currently graduated, search websites of firms that are exciting you and find out the way people you aspire used to be in there today. After this, generate a record of the things you are able to do and you do not desire. For instance, if you are keen on the free time it is not suitable for you to seek a job, they will ask you to labour late and on weekends. Chapter 8. Contest with yourself and do not dread the critiques of other people. There might be a case that you have forced yourself to manage a race path, or there might be a case that you have contested the capability of your mind and articulated a well-written essay. Everybody confronts tough responsibilities, and many of them are used to have the fulfillment of rising to a contest and handling it. Well, it is the 7th drive, contest. Earlier, then we focused on the essentials. It is needed to make a difference among challenges and aims. It is not obligatory for an aim to be something huge. It might be modest. For example, you take the pet for a walk or doing domestic works. However, a contest is hard to define. In order to handle it, you need to be prepared with all you have, qualifications and labour. Therefore, the establishment of challenges should not be mere aims, rather it is needed to be really challenging. Struggle to contest yourself periodically for the upcoming year. Design 12 boxes on paper and set a contest in each part. For instance, if you are genuinely prepared notes when you have a presentation, present it with no notes later. If you play tennis often against same level players, play against people who are more skilled next time. Probably you want to improve your social qualifications. If so, focus on listening to others for a specific period or be a member of a team sport. Every month, you should begin to set new contest. Nonetheless, never allow other people's critiques to spoil your appetite for any challenge. It is generally seen that one might be anxious about the possible lack of backings coming from friends or colleagues in your challenges, or one might think that they will want you not to achieve. However, it is highly probable that individuals will support you instead of showing disdain. For instance, how often do you think a person in their middle ages has experienced a really agonizing refusal? The writer has traveled the world and investigated hundreds of them with this question. They have responded 7 times. Contrary to rejection, they said that they have received backing and boost nearly 1,000 times when they were asked. Obviously, being scared of other people's criticism and comments are not based on a fact. Chapter 9. Evaluate your creativity and make an effort to develop it. Children are imaginative. Creative works might be painting with colours, chanting, or crafting something on the coast, which every child goes towards. Do you know the last time you built sandcastles or found yourself singing? The imaginative expression, which is the eighth drive, generally dies out at the time of being mature. It is really not good since it has many utilities, not only individuals, but also professionals. As expected, creative skills have a big role in how one perceives oneself. Aside from its contribution to drawing more significant relations, it also gives a more profound picture of the personality to the individual. Being creative is a worthy trait in the modern day's employment market, which is focused around incentiveness and layouts. Richard Florida elaborates in The Rise of the Creative Class that towards the end of the 19th century, the ratio of US population who had a job that required creativity was less than 10%. Towards the end of the 1990s, the ratio has increased to 1/3. Today, commercial businesses require creative members. However, knowing the current conveyance of your own creativity is the first step in increasing it. What follows is an easy quiz that will lead you to figure out that. Scoring from 0, absolutely no, to 10, entirely, how would you respond to the inquiries below? Number 1, do your character and your house's indoor look resemble each other? Number 2, does your job tell you something about you? Number 3, do you think that your voice and well-being are given thought of in your relationship? Number 4, does your character play a big role in your relationship with your friends? Number 5, do your leisure activities tell you something about you? Number 6, do you feel like you add something new to the people? These inquiries are supposed to determine how well you convey your creativeness. A score under 45 indicates that you need much more to learn in the subject. Beginning to create something is most likely the solution to this problem. Being inventive is a difficult practice that needs strictness. Are you thinking of writing a novel? Do it. Do you feel like you should try your chance at painting as an abstract artist? Go for it. If the feedback to your work is negative, start working twice as hard instead of dropping. There was a point for all artists where they had no idea about art, and errors are inevitable in getting proficient at a new skill. Therefore, you should kick off, check the comebacks, and don't let any negative outcome make you feel sad. Chapter 10. Commit to a worthwhile account through chasing your enthusiasm and concern. If you have a chance to decide, where would you work? At a shoe store or a cancer research center? Well, if you were similar to other persons, you choose a job having a meaningful cause. You desire to sense that by making an effort, you support them. Therefore, you likely prefer a cancer research center to a shoe store. However, contribution as an active ninth driver does not require pursuing the job at an honorable institution. It might mean merely having an occupation you take pleasure in. The contribution is inescapable if you make your effort for the work you like. For example, the writer one time coincided with a bank manager who thought she could never genuinely commit to the world. All people told her she needed to return. However, she liked her employment very much and she did not want to give up and embrace a moral account. Then the writer found that personnel working for the bank manager thought she was a good boss. She tried to understand their problems and they aspired to her. Even though she did not work for a non-governmental organisation, she contributed to the world by doing what she loved. You might contribute to a thing you are ambitious, which might be in various shapes such as qualification, time, finance, or other resources. The focal point is that you sense your contribution is influencing and reinforcing positive transformation. For example, in a case that there are two institutions, one insists hunger among children in Nigeria, where you cannot do more than cleaning dishes in a room you do not see children. The second one assists children in their schooling and you might contribute through instructing them. Despite your preference for the first organisation, you may desire to commit to the second one because you can watch the direct influence of your being. Chapter 11. Develop self-awareness through concentrating on your ideas and thanking the world's greatness. What is the meaning of being self-aware? Is it about present time, to realize the setting we are through our senses, and to take pleasures in exact consciousness? Well, yes. However, it is through self-awareness, and it's one face of self-awareness. The feeling of there is a setting, a larger, a power that links all living and keeps together everything, which is beyond self-awareness. In the records of human beings, we have followed not only the 10th drive, but also the final drive. To favour the former, you should make an effort to be more aware on your ideas. We are generally spend our moment by thinking about ordinary things. We are ruled by our desires and seek the place fibres of ideas guide. Therefore, you need to concentrate on your mind if you desire to get thought self-awareness. For instance, you can intimidate what the writer did. He prepared the alarm at 3-hour periods, and each moment it stops, he questions like, what will I concentrate on now? By doing this, he developed his efficiency, reconnected to his attention, and returned him to the administration of his ideas, which he had let cutting off usually. You can make an effort for the latter type of consciousness through acknowledging the universe's little greatness. The modern way of living does not allow us to cease. It prevents us from paying attention and recognizing wonders of life. Some people feel imprisoned if mobile phone lack connectivity. Nonetheless, if you cease to be concerned about it, it is a big deal that this little gadget can link our voice to the voice of the person we like or operate to be used for the internet, which is a wonder as well. Choose a scene to be amazed by this kind of thing, and you might sense the connection between you and the world. It is similar to the moment you realize how you feel caring towards your partner and how you appreciate your partner's characteristics. You sensed linked to the world and all living beings when you're aware of the world's greatness. One time is enough to access this rank of self-awareness, and it will be easy to keep making decisions for your own life. The Charge, Activating the 10 Human Drives That Make You Feel Alive by Brendon Burchard, book review. All people are able to have a satisfied, blessed living. You need only to trigger the 10 human urges that form the construction of bliss and satisfaction. Once you embody these 10 drives, you will become more stimulated, more socially linked, and more trusting in yourself than before. Apply the 3-month entry ritual. To allow novelty and excitement to penetrate your mind at each moment and its after, you ought to operate the 3-month entry plan. It indicates that it suddenly starts in your day every 90 days. It is possible through both yourself and with other individuals. It is related to getting rid of the typical ideas and creating something novel, comfortable, and delightful things, instead of making journeys to various places. Visit a place where you have not seen yet, and return, then become renewed. And that's a wrap on the book summary of The Charge by Brendon Burchard. If you don't know who we are Best Book Bits. We've done over 700 video, written, and audio book summaries. Check us out on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, ring the notification bell, check out our top videos we've done, and browse through our selection. You can follow us at bestbookbits.com, the home of the world's largest free book summary website, and you can read over 700 book summaries. If you're into the audio format, follow us on Spotify, Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast, where you can browse over 700 audio book summaries. You can support us on Patreon and check out our links in the show notes below, where you can support Best Book Bits, such as my book, Success in 50 Steps, the proven formula that works, so check that out now. We've also put together our top 150 best book bit summaries in PDF format, so if you're into that, check that out too. If you want to be updated with the latest book summaries via email, pop your email in the link below so you never miss a summary. We put together a course called 28 Steps to Making Your Best Year Ever, so if you're serious about having your best year ever, check out the course. I also do a coaching program, so if you want to be mentored and coached by myself, I do a 28-day coaching program called the Archery Method, so apply now if you want to be coached by myself. If you want this summary via PDF, pop your link below and we'll send this straight to you via email. You can also follow us for free on Facebook and our book club called Best Book Bits book club, so click now to join and meet other readers and like-minded people. I'm also spending my time on Instagram, so if you want to DM me, give me some book recommendations, you can find me on Instagram at bestbookbits. Thanks for watching and listening to this summary. Go out there, become charged. Hope you like it. Have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye now.